Now, we've got another story that I want to touch briefly on, and that's Hunter Biden basically crashing out in what can only be described as a drug-addled rage attack in an interview that he did with a reporter. This is just absolutely amazing. You've got to check this out. This is wild stuff. Here we go, right into Hunter Biden as he basically can't get off the sauce. I don't know. This is wild. Check this out.
For some reason, the intelligentsia of the Democratic Party with 2020 insight believe that Joe Biden should have considered not running again because of their perception that he was too old. And so then the drumbeat began. And the New York Post the New York Times, on a near daily basis, egged on by the Pod Save America saviors of the Democratic Party, with four millionaires that are dining out on their association with Barack Obama from 16 years ago, living in Beverly Hills, telling the rest of the world what black voters in South Carolina really want, or what the women in the waitress living outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin really believes. I mean, what the I can't believe that we do this over and over again.
Yeah.
Or here, Rahm Emanuel is going to run for president. David Axelrod's going to run his campaign for him. That's like, oh boy, there's the answer. There's the answer. Genius is all. All of the things that they've won. You remember this, is that everybody talks about Joe Biden now as if he was somehow the choice of the Democratic Party. We lost Iowa, we lost New Hampshire, we came in second in Nevada. David Plouffe and David Axelrod went on TV. They said that there's no way Joe Biden can get the nomination, not a chance in the world. Mike Bloomberg is going to crush him in California. Elizabeth Warren's going to beat him in Massachusetts. There's going to get wiped out in Texas. He doesn't have the money to run. A lot of rural voters said, "F you, we love Joe." A lot of urban voters said, "F you, we love Joe." And they voted for him overwhelmingly. And not only that, everybody said, well, he'll never be able to beat Trump. And they said, he'll never bring us out of COVID. And they said, he'll never be able to pass bipartisan legislation, and he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and he's living in a different generation, and he's living in a past time. And over again, David Axelrod would go on and say.
So little Hunter Biden is basically pissed that Joe Biden got ousted from the candidacy, because that essentially ousted him from his cushy little bribe-taking job. Now he's really got to lay off the powder, because the dude can't sit still. And this profanity-laced nonsense. Is this really how you talk all the time? I imagine what his father is like behind closed doors. Imagine what the meetings asking for money was like from other foreign dignitaries and scumbags and oligarchs. They were involved in an ongoing criminal enterprise. This is absolutely nuts.
The thing about the president is that he is just a man who time has passed by, and he doesn't understand Congress. We passed bipartisan legislation more than any presidents in Lyndon B. Johnson, and who had a supermajority in both the House and the Senate, with Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. And who did that? That didn't happen by magic. That didn't happen in the Obama administration. That happened because Joe Biden got on the phone with Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer and the rest of the party and Republicans in the party, and he passed a bill because Mitch McConnell didn't stand in the way like he did to every other president other than Joe Biden. And he got it done. He did it. Him alone. And then they said, well, look, it's all going to come down to this State of the Union speech. It's going to come down to the State of the Union speech. That was it. And he knocks it out of the park.
And it was that one debate that caused the full backslide.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I know exactly what happened in that debate. He flew around the world, basically, in the mile.
Yeah, right. We're not buying any of that. But then Hunter Biden goes on to say even more ridiculous stuff. Check this out as he shills for illegal aliens now. The man is a woke nonsense. He's super woke. He's on drugs, super woke.
One am I going to be like all these Democrats say, you have to talk about and realize that people are really upset about illegal immigration. You. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you got food on your table? Who do you think washes your dishes? Who do you think does your garden? Who do you think is here by the sheer just grit and will that they figured out a way to get here because they thought that they could give themselves and their family a better chance. And he's somehow convinced all of us that these people are the criminals for someone. Am I?
Wow. Okay. So just profanity laced nonsense. And then he goes into the situation about the nonsense with the cocaine in the White House. Now, realize that here's the guy who's screaming about, listen to what he said. Who's going to clean? Who's going to clean your hotel room? Who's going to? These people, remember, this is the same Joe Biden who was all in for Jim Crow, who was all in for segregation, who basically said, I don't want my kids to go to an urban jungle, to a jungle school. This is the same Joe Biden who has denigrated Black people his entire life. And then because he's a Democrat, seems to think he can tell Black people, oh, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. This is absolute nonsense. This is Hunter Biden. This is the absolute reflection of the father.
Cocaine that was found in a cubby outside the West Wing of the White House.
I think it was Don Jr.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about old White House.
Yeah, when my dad was there.
Oh, so they just got to blame you automatically.
Yeah, I mean, they're literally going to do an FBI, another congressional investigation, because they've convinced themselves that it had to be me, that there was a little tiny. And my point of even bringing it up is that no, I have been clean and sober since.
Well, Hunter Biden is the most likely, but it could have been Joe Biden. It could have been Jill Biden. It could have been any one of their staff members. They're all moral degenerates, every single one of them, because they basically covered up the president's incapability and used the auto pen to run the government themselves. They're all ethical, moral degenerates, every single one of them.
June 2019, and I have not touched a drop of alcohol or a drug, and I'm incredibly proud of that.
And why would you bring cocaine to the White House?
Why would I bring cocaine to the White House, stick it into a cubby outside the Situation Room in the West Wing when I wasn't there? Anyway, this must, who the knows?
And politicians, I mean, they do blow, right?
I testified before the House Oversight, Judiciary, and Ways and Means Committee. It was a big family shindig on the Republican side. All of them showed up, from Marjorie Taylor Greene to Lauren Boebert to Matt Gaetz to, they're all sitting there. Now, none of them had the guts, except for a couple at the very end, to ask me any questions. At one point, in the 7 hours that I was being deposed, in which, by the way, I demanded that they do it in public, and they refused. And the reason is because Matt Gaetz, of all people, was giving me shit.
The only two morons involved are the interviewer and Hunter Biden. I mean, Hunter Biden is completely and utterly corrupt. Now, this interviewer is a complete clown show. Basically, he's just a Biden sycophant who's, laying up softballs and then just sitting there. He's not an interviewer. This is more like a podcast. This is more like, hey, let's sit down. I'm your bro. Let's have a couple beers. Oh, but wait a minute. You haven't had a drop of alcohol since 2019. Okay. Let's have a Coke. And we can't do that. Let's have a ginger ale, and let's just sit down and shoot the bull. And I'll just sit here and throw kind of lob softball questions, and then you just ramble on. And I won't say anything. I won't ask any follow-up questions because it's not an actual interview. I'm not trying to get to the truth. I just want to let you basically, tell your propaganda. This is absolute nonsense. But this is what the Democrats are left with. They are utterly leaderless, utterly rudderless. They have no policy. All they can stand on is, I hate Trump, and maybe we'll skew towards communism like Zoran Mandami and this Omar character in Minneapolis. And you've got Hunter Biden out there going on profanity-laced screeds against the Democrat establishment and against Republicans. But this is what the people are going to see. They're going to start to remember just how bad it was under Biden because of stuff like this. And as the Trump economy gets going, it's going to start rolling. And this entire thing with Obama is going to once again put the spotlight on how they weaponize the government against not only Trump, but against the American people. Hey, thanks everybody for rolling up. Really appreciate everybody. Thanks everybody for being here. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share Courageous Media with everybody that you know. If you really like the channel, would you please consider joining us as a member of Courageous Army? Help us build the channel on YouTube or on Patreon. The link is right there. Just hit join. Thanks everybody for being here. Remember, God is good and He is sovereign.